Hi guys, welcome to Beyond the 90. It's Neil Moore. We've obviously just lost 3-1 to Leeds. Not the best game in my opinion. With us, we've got Alex as normal. Hi Alex.
How you doing?
We've got Hannah, who's just joined our content team. Hi Hannah.
Hello.
And we've got JT, who's been on a few times. Hi JT.
Hey.
Hi. Normal show, we'll just go through talking points, good and the bad. If we can find some good, then that's great. Starting off with you, JT, what were your views on the match?
Just pretty lazy overall in general, just from everybody apart from a few players. My annoyance really just comes from the second goal, for a lot of the part. Bad pass from Johnny Evans out of the back. Perez doesn't run after it. They get a wide open ball. We got three center backs. No one's near anybody. Evans is playing Bamford on side. It's just horrific all around. Maddison was playing lazy passes, led to the first goal. Called everybody forward for the last free kick, led to the third goal. So just not great.
I can only echo all those thoughts. Hannah, what were your views on it?
Like I said before we started, I'm pretty excited to make my debut on here right after this result. But that was just shocking from us. I mean, you look at Castagna, and I think he's the one that's been shocking me the most because our last match, he was just not on it whatsoever. And we obviously saw that again today when he got taken off. I wasn't expecting him to be taken off that early, but I could tell he wasn't having his game once again, but it was just shocking.
And over to you, Alex. I think we've all said the same thing. It's just shocking.
The word for the day for me is abysmal. The game was just atrocious. Right we came out of the gate and it looked like we were coming out strong, and then the wheels just fell off. And just nothing seemed to work. Rodgers did his best to change tactically and strategize, but just nothing seemed to be going right today. The players just didn't look like they were motivated at all. Sloppy play, passes that should have easily happened and been successful were failed. It just all around it was just it was an abysmal performance.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think for me, first half was just abysmal. Half time, I thought we might change for more formation, but it was quite a big change. I thought, and Leeds for the first 10 minutes of the second half really, really struggling to compete with it. What do you think of the change of formation, JT? Because we saw one change at half time, then they changed backs. It probably wasn't working as we thought it would. JT, that's for you.
Sorry, what was that?
So the first half we played the standard formation. We changed at half time for about 15 minutes. Then we went back to the standard formation. Do you think this formation helped us or kind of hindered us a bit because no one really knew their jobs?
At the beginning of the second half, we looked pretty strong and pretty on top of things with the five at the back. Leeds couldn't get into our half for the most part with any sort of controlled possession. But then I don't know, the wheels just kind of fell off and players just looked uncomfortable and, as I said earlier, lazy, and it just kind of fell apart at that point. Probably right around when they scored the second goal, maybe a few minutes before that. But yeah, so probably 20, 25 minutes in.
But I'm going to come to you now, Alex. Harvey Barnes' goal, how good was it? Because from where I was watching it, it just looked unbelievable. Him and Maddison, the interplay together just looked unreal.
The Barnes goal was fantastic. I think that's one of the positives you can actually take out of this game. Was how world-class Harvey Barnes is really becoming. I think he's really come into his own this year, and that goal was just exceptional. I think there's been such criticism over, I would say over the last 18 months or so, like really about 18 months ago, we were so critical, being like, he can't hit the net. Every time he takes that shot, it's always wide. And he's really, come into his own game and really capitalized, and he's been able to, seems like he can score on any occasion at this point. And I think we're really just kind of seeing, what he can do. There's so much more that he can bring to the table, and I think today was just evident as to what he can bring. And I think, like I said, moving forward, it's going to be quite exciting to see. And I think he's also turned the head of Southgate, because I think that's one player that Southgate's highly considering.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think he's knocking on the door. He does the right things. I just want to give a mention to Kasper Schmeichel today. I thought first half outstanding, kept us probably in the game. But who's kind of your man of match, Anna? Who would you give that to from the Leicester point of view?
I mean, Kasper was phenomenal. In the first half, he probably saved us so many times. Like, if it weren't for him, we would have conceded way more than 3. I mean, he's a contender for man of the match for me. I mean, yeah. Even though we let in 3, I think he definitely kept a decent amount out, and you can tell he was trying to really push everyone to kind of step it up a bit, but it just wasn't our day, and it happened.
I think you're right. I think for me, I'm not sure. We seem to be creating chances, but none of them were clear-cut chances. Leeds were making the clear-cut chances. I know we're bound to touch on this. How much did we miss Vardy today, JT, creating them chances and making that space?
Perez is just a totally different player from Vardy. There's things that Perez is good at. He's pretty good at maneuvering in tight spaces, kind of similar to Maddison in that regard, with like quick dribbles and quick and shifty moves. But as for playing as a number 9 striker, it's completely different. There's times where you see a ball. I can't remember. It was late in the first half, I think, and there was like a deflected pass, and Ayoze Perez was just trying to get on the end of it and just couldn't get a toe onto the end. And like that's a ball that you see Vardy get on 10 times out of 10, because he's always making that darting run right into the 6-yard box, just getting on the nerves of the keeper pretty much every time. It's just little things like that. Like even if the ball doesn't go there, it's just the danger factor is completely different and completely lacking right now with Perez.
Yeah. I know exactly what you mean. Hannah, what do you think went wrong for us today? If you were Rodgers, what would you try and do to put it right?
If I was Rodgers, I think I'd make substitutes earlier. I find he sometimes waits a bit too long to make certain changes. I feel like I would have got injured on a lot earlier than he had, because we needed that energy up front as well. We needed someone to kind of help push up a little more. And our defense was just, today it was not. It was totally off for me. And if I was Rodgers, I'd be working on some set pieces a little more in training, and then pray that goes a bit better. But
yeah, totally great. And just picking on Hannah's point there, Alex, the defence. What did you make of it there? He went off, groin injury. Ricardo came on. I thought Ricardo played quite well, actually. He did what he did. But the gaps at the back, generally we don't see gaps with Evans and Fofana. And when the 3 of them were on, the gaps were just getting bigger and bigger. I don't know what your views were on our defence today.
I'm hoping it's just one of those, one-offs, to be brutally honest. Like, if you look back at all the games that we've played this year, like, we've never seen this. This seems to be just one of those games where everything that was going to go wrong went wrong.
Yeah.
And I think, you always have to have cause for concern in situations like this, because, like, if it can happen once, it can happen again. But I simply put, the defense just weren't on their game today. I don't think the entire team were on their game today. I think that's something that Rodgers really needs to sit down and review the tapes and just, really talk to the other coaches and be like, okay, what went wrong here today, and how can we work through a situation like this moving forward? Because I think one thing that Rodgers has done very well this season is adapt strategically and tactically. He's really grown into that. So I think a game like this is a perfect opportunity for him and the other coaches to really review the tapes and be like, okay, what went wrong, and how can we fix this moving forward?
Yeah, I think you're right. And touching on the midfield, I thought Maddison just looked well off his normal game today. I thought Tillerman's played all right. Mendy tries to do the job of Ndidi, but he's just not Ndidi. Ndidi just sits in front of the back four. He's that anchor. No one gets through him. And I just think going forward, maybe when Mendy plays, we probably need to change the kind of formation of our midfield a bit to protect the defence a bit more. And what did you think of Mendy's performance today, JT?
He just he looked back to the past couple seasons of Mendy, as he has been the last few times that he's touched the field. Earlier this season, he did a pretty good job covering for Ndidi when Ndidi got his first injury. But the last couple of times that he's touched the pitch, it's been a bit lackluster, to say the least. A lot of backward passes, a lot of times just being a little bit off and like out of position, per se, not the destroyer, just mopping up everything right in front of the defense. And also, I mean, to no fault of his own, sometimes his diminutive stature does hurt him quite a bit. Just sometimes gets bullied, but yeah, it's not his fault, but it just happens.
Exactly, and I think the last two games we seem to be attacking really well. I mean, today we had 18 shots and 8 on target. Everton game was pretty much the same, bombarded them, but we're just not converting them chances. Maybe it's that time of the season, everyone goes for a bad patch, don't they? And obviously we've got the transfer window closing tomorrow. But what do you think, Hannah? Why are we not scoring the chances? Because some of them are a lot easier chances that we used to just bury, didn't we?
I'm seeing a lot of hesitation from players when it comes to just going ahead and taking shots. There's a few instances where it's like you're watching and you're kind of like, why aren't you just hitting it? Like, just put it in, and there's too much footwork happening at times. Sometimes you see that with Barnes, sometimes you see it with Perez, and I think that could be part of it. And as well as we just definitely need some more up front. We need some people on the side to be feeding those strikers some more goals. But right now it's just we're kind of plowing through the opposition, hoping that we get to the net and put it in, and that's just not happening.
No, I think you're right. And then answer, I guess, online. Ant said Mendy had his purple patch looks overrun today. What do you think, Alex, of that? Do you think he looks overrun, or do he look okay?
It's tough to say. I think one of the things with Mendy is that he was playing so well when he was playing every week. He was really his performance. Just again, he was healthy. He was getting the time in every match to play. And since Ndidi's come back, he's been more on the bench, and most of the time he's not even getting the game. If he is, it's not for much time. He just seemed like he was kind of lost out there today, and that's unfortunate because he's been playing so well this season. I think one of the key issues with that is how much all these players that have been producing so well at the start of the season, they were doing so because they were the top player to slot into that role due to injury. Now all these players are getting stuck out of onto the bench, and now they're getting brought in every 20 minutes or less at this point, and now they just look lost. And I think that's what's happening to Mendy. His fitness isn't as what it was when he was playing it weekly.
Yeah, totally agree. Cam's joined us online. What do you guys make of Perez's performance today? Now, I've been abused in the past for bashing Perez too much. So I'm not going to answer this because I'll probably say something about it just looked like a cardboard cutout or something. So JT, what do you think of Perez's performance today?
I'm not the biggest fan of Perez. I haven't been since we signed him. Most of the time he's been playing out wide. The one thing I can say about him is that for the most part, he's always sprinting and working hard, and especially helping with his defensive responsibilities. That being said, today just looked off it. I don't necessarily rate him in the center of the pitch as much as some people do. I just think he's just not a number 9, not a lone striker. Can't really play up front by himself. Just doesn't offer very much, in my opinion.
No, everyone's not it. I'm going to go to Hannah next. So Hannah, he's not a winger. He's not a striker. So what do you do with him next?
Me?
Yeah.
That's a big question. Sorry, what do I do with what next?
Perez. So we've tried him on the wing. It doesn't seem to be working. It doesn't work on the wing. We've been told he's that nice for third position. I think for Newcastle he played as a lone striker. He's been a lone striker for the last 2 games. He's done some good stuff, don't get me wrong, he has done some good stuff. But he doesn't look like that lone striker that we need. So I'm just wondering, is he a good backup for Vardy, or do we need somebody else?
We absolutely need someone else. 100%. We need someone up there helping out with Vardy. I see Alex laughing, but I'm dead set on. I would love to bring someone else in up there, but I can't see Perez being that person.
I think you're right. I think we've seen stuff. So the window shuts tomorrow. Let's go on to this. Alex, window shuts tomorrow. I think the first thing that we're looking for is a loanee because Pratt's injured. That's the kind of. I think that's our first priority. What do you think our first priority should be? Do we need an attacking midfielder, or is that striker a bit more urgent? Do you think?
Right now, that's tricky because I think there is the need for an attacking midfielder, but I think right now, today really showed that we need that striker. Because, we've been talking about this whole, what if Vardy gets hurt? What if Vardy, is out for a week, 2 weeks, longer? We don't know. What happened? And it's really shown that this team looks absolutely lost when Vardy is not in the lineup. We don't have that striker to come in and be like, I got this. Vardy is out for maybe 2-3 weeks. I can come in, I can take control of the team, and, nothing really changes. Nacho can't come into the lineup. He really just looks completely lost out there. We've tried Perez. Perez also doesn't look like he's a capable striker. So who does that leave us with? That's the issue. With Vardy out, even for another week at this point, per se. Who's to say he gets injured again at any point this season? Those are the issues that you need to really focus in on. Even I always think that even as attacking midfielder, have Perez on the bench because he has come in for times to replace Maddison, and he has done a great job. So that's where I kind of look at it is Perez could easily slot in as a bench role for Maddison if they ever do need to sub him off, and then you can really focus on a new striker.
Okay, yeah, that makes perfect sense to me. One thing I wanted to pick up with you guys as well, Gundo, when he came on, I thought looked really, really good. He had that one shot which was dreadful. But he seems to have that pace, that attacking to run at defenders and scare them. And I think that's probably something that Harvey Barnes brings to the team. But probably something we lacked this game until he came on. What do you think with Gundo so far, JT? Do you think he's been good for us? Would you buy him? Or would you end his loan at the end of the season and look elsewhere?
It's kind of difficult to say still, even at this point in the season. He's just kind of lacked a consistent run in the team to really see what he can do. Like we can see in games like today or in the few games that he's played in Europe, he's very direct. He just wants to make things happen. He has that kind of dynamism that a lot of our attackers lack. Like you see the goal that Barnes scored today where he runs past and just puts so much pressure on a defense and pretty much creates it from himself. There's only 2 players at the club that can really do that, and that's him and Under. And it's just like, but we just don't get to see a consistent run of him, especially in the Premier League, which is like the premier competition that we're in and that we need to focus on. If he can't be successful in the Premier League, then I don't think no, we should buy him and we need to probably look elsewhere.
Okay. Anna, what are your views on Under? Would you keep him or end his loan? Or do you think it'd be a good signing for us long term?
I think he still needs to prove himself a bit. I don't think he's really been given the opportunities to do that quite yet. I think he's been great in Europa League. We haven't really seen him enough in Prem, but I think he's promising. I think he definitely has potential, and you can see that connection he's got with Soyuncu as well, which I think is massive. So I think I need to see more of him. Like, we need to start him a bit more, not in like Prem games yet, but like in cup games, stuff like that. Give him some more chances, see how he does starting off, and then if he improves from here on, then I think he's someone that we should definitely think about keeping, but it's kind of hard to say right now.
Okay. I wanted to bring Alex into the next point. I thought, yes, we were very leaky at the back, but I thought on the whole, Leeds played okay. They kind of saw the gaps, and Schmeichel had a great performance, as he always does. It's just how do we stop them leaks at the back? Is it because Soyuncu came in, he's not played in that back four for a while? Did that not help us at all? I just wonder with that back four, what do we do? Do you think it works 3 at the back with them 3 at the back? Or do you think the back four is a bit more solid?
I honestly think 4 at the back's more solid. That's nothing against having a Soyuncu, Fofana, Evans trio. I just think what we've seen over this past year, when you see Justin with Evans, Fofana / Soyuncu with Castagna or Ricardo, it just seems much more. It just seems like a more well-oiled machine. Just something that I've kind of noticed. And when you have both of your left and right backs, they're very versatile, so they can they kind of play as wing backs. Whereas you slot 3 center backs at the back, it changes the whole dynamics of the of the game. And I don't think we haven't played enough of that to even really test it. So like today was just one of those, like, I think Rodgers was really like, okay, this isn't working. Let's try something different. And it's kind of like, you throw something against the wall hoping it sticks. And if it doesn't, well, it didn't happen today. Sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't. I'm more in favor of the 4 at the back. It just, the way that we play, it just seems more promising. And over the last, the span of the last, few months of this season, it really has worked. And I think, stick to what and, I would say work on the things that you're not fully confident in training, and you go from there.
Yeah, I totally agree. I think today one thing that worries me is it always does set pieces. Every time the opposition has a corner, free kick, it just worries me. And even the one where he was offside, that's a brilliant header. If Schmeichel doesn't save it, it goes in. Again, set pieces really worry me. And even attacking set pieces, how many times does Maddison hit the first man or doesn't pick the right pass out? It just, I'm going to bring JT in here. What do you think is wrong with our set pieces? Because we see a lot of fans going, "Oh no, not another set piece." And it scares people.
Yeah, defensively, I mean, we tend to go with the zonal marking. I don't rate the zonal marking. Our matchups on defensive corners just seem to be missing. I don't understand why. We see too many times. We see Tielemans and Mendy marking 6'3" center backs, and like when they come into their area, and they're absolutely overpowered. As for the offensive set pieces, it's just kind of a lack of imagination. There were a couple in there where Maddison hit a free kick down towards the byline, and I think might have been Justin, or it might have been Perez. I can't remember which one. Hit it back across, and Wesley Fofana ended up having a volley right around the penalty spot, and ended up taking deflection for a corner. And then the corner after that's the one that Johnny Evans missed at the back post off that rebound. So those were 2 of our most dangerous set pieces of the whole season from what we've seen, because as you said, a lot of them are when Maddison's hitting the first man. just there seems to be a lack of design and lack of execution, even from Maddison. And like you hear the commentators say it, they're like, "Oh, he's such a set piece like wizard," or stuff like that. And like we haven't really seen that since maybe like the Southampton 9-0 when he hit that free kick in. I don't think we've really seen him do much since that. But I think it's just been kind of a lack of execution on offensive set pieces anyway.
Yeah, totally agree with everything you're saying. I think you're right. I think with regards to marking at corners and free kicks, we use zonal marking, and I've never been a big fan of zonal marking because you just mark in an area, and like you say, Mendy marks his area, and all it takes is 2 6'4" people to stand next to him, and it looks like all their mini-me's that are going around currently. He's never going to out-jump them. So for me, I'd like to see man-to-man marking brought back. You know who your man is, you mark them, and I think that would help us a bit. But regards to our corners, what would you like to see more of, Hannah?
In regards to corners?
Yeah.
Less hitting the first man, I guess.
Do these short corners work? Because we have been taking a lot of short corners to try and get around, not hitting.
Yeah, that's definitely, obviously, I feel like Maddison's become a bit aware of how we feel when he just hit that first man, so he decided to take a few short corners. But we've seen them succeed with those short corners, and I maybe keep that up, hope it continues to improve. But also, like, we're putting it over the net and stuff, we're putting them wide. It's some of these corners are just like atrocious to watch. I can't like, every time we get a corner, I sometimes have to like pray a little. But that's with every set piece. I'm like, I hope this works, fingers crossed, but it's just not working lately.
No, I totally agree with everything you're saying. I mean, I see corners and I'm like, oh God, here we go again. It just look really shaky. So kind of final thoughts. Starting with you, Alex. Final thoughts.
We have to be better. Today was, I'm going to keep saying it, I think today was an absolute one-off. We just weren't there. We just had nothing in the tank. We just weren't there at all today. I hope that, they can review all the tapes and that they can really focus in as to where they went wrong. And then, moving forward, they can capitalize off of all their mistakes. And it will be very interesting to see if we actually do anything tomorrow before the deadline.
Okay. JT? Final thoughts?
Yeah, I agree with Alex. I think it was just a one-off. Coming in, we knew Leeds, they're just going to play their unique style, their Bielsa ball. It's just kind of unpredictable. It's just just constant pressure, like we talked about. Mendy getting overran in the midfield. I just don't think he was expecting to have Calvin Phillips on his back and Click on his back, just pressing him every single time he touched the ball. Just looked a little out of sorts at times. It just need to have a short memory, move on to the next game. We've been on a good run. The commentators were talking about our unbeaten run coming into that match. I think we'll put it past us pretty easily, and it's not going to be. I don't think it's going to become a problem, especially the leaky defense. I don't think that's going to happen again.
No, nor do I. Hannah, last thoughts?
I agree with these two. I think the players will take something from this and just move with it, and hopefully we'll see an improvement. I'm sure we will, but all we can do is move on to the next one.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think I'm quite surprised we've got through this without mentioning Demarai Gray once. So well done, guys. I thought his name might come up because now he's gone. £2 million, I think, to buy Leverkusen. So thanks everyone for joining us. Before we go, Hannah's joining our content team. She's going to be doing her own show, I think, on a Wednesday night. And she's going to be talking about the Leicester City ladies team. Hannah, do you want to tell us any more?
Yeah, I'm super excited. James reached out to me and said that some people wanted to see this. So I said, why not? I'll go for it, give it a try. I look forward to it. I've already been in touch with a few people, so we have some good big things coming. So I'm really excited.
Okay, guys, stay tuned for that. We'll post on our socials when that is. But anyway, guys, thanks for today. Disappointing. I know, but we're going to Fulham Wednesday night. Thanks, guys.